Shalom, shalom, family. Peace and blessings to the chosen. Israel scattered abroad. Negroes everywhere across the land, four corners of the earth. Know it's kind of late, but I wanted to come on and speak a little bit about the dark side of Black history, or a lot of Black history that's not talked about. Certain information we as people, that we don't even know. Going through school, the teachers and the courses and the classes that we took, a lot of those classes, excuse the camera too, a lot of the lessons that we learned from the history books, it was all based on a curriculum. So they had certain guidelines that they had to follow and certain things that they had to teach within that time limit, seeing that, America's education system is not year round. It's for this a period of time, and then our children, or we stopped going to school for a break. So they had to cram in certain information, which they were selective about it. They didn't have to teach us the things that they did, but they could have taught us more. All right, so not trying to get too much into about the information around it. Excuse me, like I said, I know it's late, but I wanted to get this out of my spirit. And prayerfully is for the edification of any brother or sister who may not have known. Because I didn't know it first. I learned this information here after going through school. And we want to talk about Black history or brown history in the scriptures and then within history. So just to get started, we talk about Black History Month. Like I said a couple of days ago, Black History Month, it wasn't always recognized as Black History Month. Hey, shalom. Shalom to the family, everybody on. You coming, I'm on YouTube too, Facebook. When y'all come on, if it's not a problem, hit that like button, dislike button, subscribe, comment, share, whatever, just to spread the word further to somebody else who might not know the information. Pray everything good with y'all. And like always, all praise to the Most High, for sustaining us, keeping us through the week, blessing us, being merciful to us, giving us another chance and opportunity, to even discuss these type of subjects, even to enlighten us on information that we didn't know. All praise to the Most High for the truth, because we've been shadowed, we've been taught that, like what's being capitalized this month is going to be the accomplishment, like I talked about in the video a couple of days ago, just the accomplishments that Negroes have made, within this month. But it's a whole lot more information that is not talked about before we even got to that point. The struggle, the battle, that we had to go through in order to even stand, to even make that accomplishment. Then a lot of inventions and goals that we had, the successes that we made, a lot of them things it was stolen from us, and then credited to, Caucasoids or another race. All right, but there's another subject. But to get right into it, family, Black History Month, when did it start? All right, how old is Black History Month? So we travel back in time. We go to 1915. We're talking about when slavery was supposedly abolished within that time period, right? Slavery was supposed to be abolished in the United States. All right. Not long after that, rather, Carter G. Woodson, he was a known historian. He came up with Negro History Week. All right, this in this time, Negro History Week. So it wasn't always Black History Month. It started off as Negro History Week. So we had a week, and they chose the second week in February to be Negro History Week. So that's all we had. I then further past that, as time went on, you see, we bring it up to like the 1960s. We had the Civil Rights Movement popping off. The struggles that went on with that. So that kind of added fuel to the fire, because through the years up to that point, we was already saying, well, we declaring every second week of February to be Negro History Week. All right, so from that point, we get President Gerald Ford. He came on board in 1976. 1976. That's when it was officiated, or he made it official. Said we're gonna declare the month of February to be Black History Month or Negro History Month. Started off as a week though. All right, then so when we analyzing this, brothers and sisters, we looking at, okay, the shortest month in the year, get it to them, like I talked about in the video, along with we're gonna have it within the same month as Valentine's Day, to where people not thinking about really delving and digging into the roots of where we come from in every aspect of it. Like I'm having a conversation, I had a conversation with a brother yesterday about it. You know what I'm saying? And we got different perspectives. You know, and he's saying, well, I think it's good that it's Black History Month. And I can't deny it. Like, all praise to the Most High for the things we did accomplish. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. You know, the different milestones we hit. We created the best stuff, the clock. You know what I mean? We coming up with the Super Soaker. We came out with the peanut butter. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff. Everything that we did, the light, all of it. All right, but aside from that, we not getting a full picture, brothers and sisters. So that's what I'm trying to, that's the information I'm bringing forth. What we didn't get, what we know about pig laws. You know what I'm saying? What you know about black codes. You know what I'm saying? We heard about Jim Crow. You know what I mean? We heard about Rosa Parks on the bus. We heard about that. But this is some information that I come across that I ain't know. So I'm just sharing it. So I'm talking about the dark side of history. All right, and even how it originated as far as Black History Month. All right, then I'm gonna put something else on it too. Took a picture with a brother. Elder was an honor. Alvin Freeman. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know anything about the Memphis 13, we talking about children 6 years old going out of the whole school. Said it can't be nothing but 4 black children in the whole school. Out of the whole school, they said it can only be 4 black children and only 1 black child in their classroom. So we going back in time with the Memphis 13. It was 13 total, you know what I mean, of our children who went into these white schools. Going to school, these folk got police all outside, you know, grown folks hollering, they got weapons, threatening children. Like, how much of a threat can a child be? You know what I'm saying? Y'all got all this, y'all got dogs out here and everything for 6-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Who trying to go to school and get an education. You know what I mean? So out of that Memphis 13, you know what I mean? I actually have been able to get acquainted and know one of those. He about 60 something now. He finna retire. But anyhow, going back to where we just came from, fam, we talking about Black History Month. It started as Black History Week. We in 1915, jump all the way up to 1976, where it was actually made official that it's Black History Month as far as February. Okay. All right, now let's get into this. What I mentioned, black code. So after slavery was abolished, this is what we got to understand what was going on. After they abolished slavery, and they did that through the 13th Amendment. So let's see what the 13th Amendment says. The 13th Amendment, it says, this is what it reads. It says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the U.S. or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So when we analyze it and read what that amendment say, it's telling us that slavery or involuntary servitude. So nobody can't force you to work or in slavery either. It said this is not gonna be it's not gonna be accepted or admitted in the United States or in any country or any place or area where the United States has that country or place under its jurisdiction, except if it's a punishment of crime. So if you commit a crime, you can be put into slavery. Slavery is acceptable then. That's what this amendment is telling us, family. It's saying if you commit a crime, you break the law, you get convicted of it, you can be put into slavery or be forced into involuntary servitude. Now, when we go into that, when we further the thought, okay, so slavery still exists. Don't be fooled. Slavery still exists. If you break a crime, you can become a slave. All right, but let's go to what we're talking about with the black codes, though. All right, this is what he talked about, and I got this information from history.org. If you want to go look it up, check behind me or whatever, history.com. All right, black codes. It says restrictive laws designed, listen to that word, designed. Hey, Shalom, Drico, Shalom, family. Shalak, Yanika C, Shalom, Heavenly, Shalom, Shalom, peace and blessings. Shema Julian, Cuzzo Chuddy, Shalom, family. The Real Broadneck, Sleepy LaFleur, Rosalind, McDonald, PJ Slaughter, David Will, Shalom, Abdullah Mark. What's up? McLeod Dunn, what going on, King? Shalom to y'all, family. Roshan Moore, Shalom. Peace and blessings to y'all, kings and queens, family everywhere. I Ben Yeshua, Shalom, Barakatah, man, you and the family. All right, but what we at though, family? We looking at black codes. So we going into what was going on after slavery was so-called abolished. All right, so black codes was something that was made. This is what the people come up with. They say, well, these Negroes, they done served us and we done got all type of money out of them, worked them, killed them, beat them, and forced them into everything. We ain't had to do them to kick our feet up. So now they finna go free. So it's really like a reenactment of what happened in the scriptures anyway with our people. When Moses and Aaron go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Pharaoh didn't want to let us go. Egypt was great because the Hebrews built it up. You know what I'm saying? We served as slaves in the ancient Egypt, and then we served as slaves here in the modern day Egypt, America. You know what I'm saying? If you got a question or want to contend with it, man, I'm in Memphis. And downtown we got the pyramid. Memphis is the same name that was used in ancient Egypt for the graveyard. You know what I'm saying? So this is modern day Egypt. Shalom, King, David Will. All right, but going back to what happened after slavery was so-called abolished, right? Chattel slavery, at least, where we in chains and all that. All right, black codes, it said restrictive laws designed to limit the freedom of African Americans. They didn't say everybody. To limit the freedom of African Americans and ensure, so that we're going to make sure this was going to happen, their availability as a cheap labor force after slavery was abolished during the Civil War. All right, now check this out. Black codes, this is what it's telling us. These is laws put in place now, which means this got to go through the government system. So what that tell you, brother? What that tell you, sister? What that say, family? Man, the government even against you and your people. They approved of this. It said it was meant to limit our freedom. Are you going to be free? You ain't finna work on a plantation for massa? Okay. You ain't going to be on a plantation, but I tell you what, we're going to limit everything you can do. It's going to still feel like you a slave. That's what they was doing. That's what it is. This ain't what was taught to me in school, though, family. If it was taught to you, hey, all praise to the Most High, but it wasn't taught to me. All right, so it's to limit our freedom and ensure the availability is cheap labor force. So we're going to make sure that y'all will be within a group of people who we can get work out of for the low. So we working for a little bit of nothing. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never getting no raise. All right, but let me get something out the scripture, though. There's enough talking for me for a second. So I want to show out this book here. Out of this book, the Holy Bible. Out of this book, you're going to see that this black history. You know what I'm saying? To a lot of people who we ain't studied our history, there's a lot of information we don't know. We go against the scriptures because of what we've been taught and the image that's been fed to us. And we say, okay, well, Christ looked like this when the whole time he ain't even Caucasoid. The book tell you what him and the other prophets look like. So we're going to get some of them verses. So if you got your book with you, your sword with you, we're gonna go to Song of Solomon. You know what I mean? And I know through us being destroyed over the years, over the centuries, a matter of fact, you know what I mean? We go into different philosophies and understandings, but we got to check what we going into. And I'm saying that because we got brothers and sisters saying, man, the Bible is the white man book. That ain't black history. I'm gonna show you otherwise. All right, Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. That's where I'm at with it. All right, this Solomon talking. He says, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. So let me show you that. KJV will be coming out. I want you to see that with your own eyes. It says, I am black. You see it? That's black history, family. It says, I am black. It's in the Bible. You ain't never knew that was in there, huh? That's all right. That's why we seen it tonight. All right, let me get something else. Job 30 and 30. Do I want that one? Job chapter 30, verse 30. Let me get that. I pray y'all feeling good over there too, wherever y'all at. It's snowing here in Memphis. You know what I mean? I was gonna go up to the school, but the inclement weather, I ain't finna drive out there like that. Job 30 and 30. It says, my skin is black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat. This is real black history. Look, I'm trying to tell you what's going on. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. That's what it say. Look, I'm screaming over the YouTube and the Facebook family. He said his skin black. So let me show you something else though. So even down to, you know what I mean, how I got my hair. A lot of other brothers and sisters had their hair, right? I'm gonna go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel, I got locks. Let's see if they had locks in the book. And I'm talking about, you know, some would say, well, you know, Africans, they had locks. I'm talking about who known for it though. Who known for locks? You gonna say no African. All right, so I'm in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 3. And it says, and he put forth the form of an hand and took me by a lock of mine head. And the spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven. All right, so it's more on that verse, but that's what we capitalizing on. And he put forth the form of an hand and took me by a lock of mine head. You see what I'm saying? And that blue highlight right there. I want y'all to see that. Let me see what else I got. We got to get the scripture. It's some in Judges too. But let me go to Christ though. Let me go to Christ real quick. Show y'all something else. Matter of fact, before I get to Christ, let's go to Acts 13 and 1. Stick with me. So there was the Old Testament. Let's see if they were black in the New Testament. Acts chapter 13, verse 1. It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger or nigger, how some pronounce it. It says, and Lucius of Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. All right, now that word Niger means black, dark. That's what Niger means. You look it up. You look that up and see. I'm gonna get Christ too. And y'all already know if you've been logging in with me. Every word ain't for everybody. So I see, you know, people gonna come in, log out, so be it, whatever. Every word ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? This for those who are listening. He that hear, let them. He that have ears to hear, let them hear. You don't want it, hey, it ain't gonna be forced. I done been through that part of the walk. I'm done trying to hold hands and all that. force people. I ain't no forcing. All right, but Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, it says, the revelation of Jesus Christ. Now, some reading it as is. It said, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. I'm going to jump down to verse 10. All right, revelation meaning revealing. Verse 10 says, I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. So Christ telling John, what you see, I write this down, put it in a book, and then I want you to send it off so people throughout the world will know what you saw, about what you write. All right, let me see. Picking back up, it said, what thou seest, write in the book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. Verse 12, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. So you got the menorah. Verse 13, it says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15, this is where we at. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And his voice is the sound of many waters. I know it might seem elementary to brothers and sisters who've been in the walk, but it's important to bring this information out, y'all. I had to learn this too, because you know it, because we know it. The next part, and because it's elementary to us, we done heard it so many times. It's a different impact for the person who never heard it. So we always got to bring it out. I don't care if we done talked about it 50 million times. Bring it out 50 million and one. Because there's one person, that's the one person that one time you do it extra, that's the person who really need it. All right, so but we'll be looking at here in the verses. He said Christ's feet, his feet gonna be the same color as the rest of his body. All right, he said his feet was like unto fine brass. Brass is already a derivative of brown. It's in a spectrum color of different tones of brown. All right, but it go further to say as if they burned in a furnace. When you burnt that pizza, it came out black. When you burnt them cookies, man, junk came out black. So then you know Christ is heavily melanated. You know what I'm saying? Very dark, brother. All right, so but we don't see that plastered in the churches, not our churches, in our houses. You know what I'm saying? Even if we type in Jesus Christ on Google or whatever, it's not gonna pull up a brown man. It's not gonna pull up a dark skinned man. All right, and that go into a whole nother lesson too. All right, but now let's dip back into it. We just switch the gears for a moment. Go back into what we talking about, the dark side of Black history. All right. So what happened under the Black codes? It says under the Black codes, many states require Blacks to sign yearly labor contracts. Listen to what we're saying here. Under the Black codes, many states, brothers and sisters. We ain't talking about just on your block. We ain't talking about just in your town. We ain't talking about just in your region. We talking about your whole state has agreed against you with this Black code law to restrict your freedom and ensure that you be under the group and within the populace of people who, man, we're going to hire you for $2. We're going to hire you for 2 cents in that time. We finna hire you for the least money we can give, to where even when you get money, it's gonna be like you ain't getting money. And I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm looking at too. Even now, we still under that in the form, because we go to work, we go to the plantation, right? Some of us, you know what I mean. But even if you don't, you know, we do all this overtime. All right, we doing overtime, which more time at the job means more time away from the family, more time away from going into the different activities and certain endeavors that you want to, you know what I'm saying, go after. So your time for yourself is really limited. Even if the job say, okay, it's an 8-hour shift, they really getting 10 hours out of you because you got to get up, take your shower, brush your teeth, wash your face, go, you know what I'm saying, get up early, drive there, and then drive back. So they cut into your time. All right, so when we doing 10, 12, 16-hour shifts, we getting overtime, right? But at the same time, our body's breaking down. So there's a count against us. And then on top of that, the cost of living, the cost of food, the cost of, you know what I'm saying, your mortgage, your condo, you get a car, you pay taxes on it. You know what I'm saying? It depreciates when you come off the lot. You got to pay for the license to drive the car. You got to pay for the gas to put in the car. You got to pay for the tax to put on the car. You know what I'm saying? All this. We folks tying us down every way that they can. You know what I mean? So all that overtime you spending, you got to get insurance on the car. So all that money you doing overtime for, it's really like you still coming up with nothing because you got all these fees to take care of. You see what I'm saying? But anyhow, under black codes, it says many states require blacks to sign yearly labor contracts. So they required you to do that. Again, so if you wanted to get some money, hey, look, this is how you're going to have to do it. You got to sign this contract, this labor contract. It says if they refused, they risk being arrested, fined, and forced into unpaid labor. So if you don't want to take that contract, man, you finna go to jail. I'm laughing because how wicked it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is crazy. Who come up with this? Who think like this? I mean, what y'all saying over here? M-O-Y Guap. I've never seen a Hamite with lock. I ain't a king. Hey, Shalom. Fred Jr. Shalom, king. Naaka Rakah. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, family. Everybody loud in. Y'all come in. Hit the like button, dislike button, share, comment, subscribe. That's all I'm saying. To spread the word even further, preferably as an edification, and however the target is who the target is. Cuzzo Robert, what's going on, family? Shalom, King. Taylor Coleon, what's up, King? Shalom. Screaming over the Facebook and the YouTube, family. But anyhow, this is what we saying. If you didn't agree to that labor contract, family, these folks arrested you. You went to jail. You went to jail because you didn't want to settle for that, because that wasn't enough for your family. And then if you ain't got the money already, so we're gonna fine you. We're gonna charge you anyway for not signing with us. And then beyond that, we still finna force you into labor and force you to work. Man, you can't tell me that ain't crazy, man. All right, so this is occurring too. We talking about further on, more history, the Reconstruction period. So after the Civil War, right, we talking about the land destroyed and so much more, to where they had to rebuild the South in particular. And a lot of time we talk about slavery being heavy in the South, but it was in the North too. You know what I mean? If you look into the details of talking about Rikers Island, you know what I mean, that jail, it said from our research, the guy named Riker, his last name was Riker. He used to take freed slaves that was in the North. He'll kidnap them and then put them back into slavery on their island in prison. That's what, you know, Rikers Island, the history of that is. You know what I mean? So, and that's in the North. All right, so keep that in mind. But after, you know, after the time period, like I said, going into Reconstruction, where they rebuilt in the South in particular, the Reconstruction period, which is 1865 to 1877. After that, they rolled out what you call pig laws. I'm telling you, somebody help me out. I didn't hear nothing about this in school. Pig law. I'm like, man, what is that? Heard of Jim Crow? You know what I'm saying? We remember all that going on, civil rights movement. But what is these pig laws? All right, pig laws, it says unfairly penalized poor pig. This is what the pig laws did. They unfairly penalized poor African Americans for crimes such as stealing a farm animal, and vacancy statutes made it a crime to be unemployed. Many misdemeanors as trivial offenses were treated as felonies with high sentences and fines. So to summarize it, fam, pig laws, this is what it was. And for some reason, you just want to take one of these planks out the fence. You take that plank out the fence and it don't cost nothing but 40 cents. When they catch you, you in particular, you Negro stealing that 40-cent plank, you finna get anywhere from 5 years to 25 years. So we finna hit you with the maximum charge. We finna charge that misdemeanor right there. We finna charge you like that's a felony. We finna get much time out of you. And what they're leading to, all of this is built up, fam. It was strategically put together for, the word ain't even oppressed. You know what I'm saying? We can't even, how deep it go, the gravity of it, you can't even really call it oppressed. The scriptures say we'll be oppressed and crushed always in Deuteronomy 28. And man, that's exactly what it was. We done went through the black codes. All right. We came from that, seeing what they did, Reconstruction period. Now we up to the point with pig laws. So if you do something that's a misdemeanor crime, and even if you was unemployed, we finna send you to jail for not working, for not building this country, for not being our slave, right? I am going back to the 13th Amendment. Connect the dots, family. I'm gonna read the 13th Amendment again. 13th Amendment, it says, neither slavery nor involuntary sentence, except as a punishment for crime. Now we hear the pig laws ringing enough. Except as a punishment for crime, or the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the U.S. or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So now you steal that. They plank for 40 cents on putting you in jail for 5 years. Now you back a slave. That's the game, family. That's the program. That's the chess move that they came up with, working through your government, who's supposed to be our government. Setting us up. Now you think you free, now come back here and you finna do this. So from that point, we lead into not only pig laws, but peonage. All right, let me see if I can get this up. Malak Judah Shalom, King. My brother right there. Hey, peonage. Let me see if I can get it up. I don't know if y'all can see me or not, but either how if you can hear me. It says peon. That's what the word peon comes from. Peonage comes from the word peon. All right, peon usually refers to a person subject to peonage, any form of unfree labor or wage labor in which a laborer has, in which a laborer has little control over employment conditions. All right, now this take me back to what we talking about. During peonage, you had it to where these white people, and it's the truth, if you don't like it, hey, you know what I'm saying, that's who did it. And even beyond white people, we had the Arabs that enslaved us too. We had the so-called Africans enslave us too. You know what I mean? But in this point, we were talking about here in Babylon, in America, with peonage, this is what the white people said. They said, these Negroes, they don't feel pain. They don't hurt. They don't cry. You know what I mean? They 3/5 of a man. They not human. They don't have sympathy or emotion. And they like, man, we something else. We less than animals. We not to be regarded in any form or fashion, right? So they say, but they so strong, I want to put their bodies to a test. So they say, we talking about in the mining, what they just coming up with, industrializing the country, where they send up railroad tracks and getting trains and everything pushing out. They going to the coal mines, family, which a lot of the workers are brothers who then came or committed a crime and became victim to the pig laws. So they put into peonage Well, they can't control the condition. You talking about you in a hot mine, a cold mine, and they got you working 16 to 18 hours a day, no stopping. In the summertime, you underground. You hear me? You underground in a cold mine, hot as it is, working 16 to 18. Somehow people died out there. Died working. Because they said we want to put their bodies to a test to see how far can they go. I did. That brings something else to me. I'm just gonna speak on it as it come to me. I'm talking to a young brother at the plantation a couple of days ago. You know, and he say he was wondering how the dogs, the bloodhounds, used to find, you know, runaway slaves. So the plantation was set up like this, family. They had it to where outside or outlining the plantation, they had these bushes, thorn bushes though. So when you think you finna escape, you gotta go through these bushes. And when you go through the thorn bushes, what's gonna happen? It's gonna cut you. It's gonna split the skin. You gonna bleed. So after that happened, now who on your trail? The bloodhound. The bloodhound will be chasing because it's picking up on your skin ripping for trying to escape through them bushes. So that's how they track this, because you leaving that trail. That's why you seen it, you know, certain movies, you know, the runaway slave will go and get into the water, you know what I mean? Because the bloodhound can't track it in. The blood washed away with the water. I would think that's how they had the plantation set up. That's how they found us, with the bloodhounds going through the bushes. All right, but where was I going? We talked about pig laws, talked about 13th Amendment. All right, Black History Month too, just so we know, starting at Black History Week, but it's celebrated not only in America, it's celebrated in the UK. It's also celebrated in Canada. All right, so there's a little more information on it. But let's get some more scriptures, because what I'm talking about with the pig laws, with peonage, with the black codes, that's in the book. That come out the scripture. They go to Psalm 94. The Most High said he ain't gonna leave us blind, you know what I'm saying, to nothing that's going on. All right, so I'm going to the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 20. And it says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frame of mischief by a law? All right, so what we're hearing here is the Most High saying, should we, you know what I mean, be in cahoots with the same people who they frame, they create, fabricate, and design, like what even the definition said, they design mischief by law against us. They putting us into worse conditions through law, family. That means the executive branch, the judicial branch, the legislative branch, all of them had to be like, okay, yeah, let's roll with it in some form or fashion for it to come into play. The congressman or the Senate, either or, they had to agree to this. So you talking about the supposed to be higher ups, or the people who's supposed to be looking out for the welfare of the country, saying it's okay to do these particular people like that. Wicked, man. All right, so let's keep going forward though. Let me get Joel 3. I'm gonna go to Joel chapter 3. All right, because we know, for those who may not have heard, let me say it like that. We talking about being breeded like animals. You know what I mean? So much so to even words, the origin of certain words we use in particular, talking about mother effer, man, that comes from Massa, the plantation owner, the slave owner, breeding out forefathers and foremothers and saying, look, this Negro woman is strong. Her husband was strong too, and they got a strong child. But we don't need the man, and we ain't getting into the Willie Lynch letter. We need to read that. If you ain't read that, you need to read that. All right, and so we're gonna ship the husband off, but we need more strong slaves. So instead of putting the mother with another slave man, they say, hey, Let the son and the mother have sex. That's where you get the term mother effer. Can y'all feel that? You know what I'm saying? Buck breaking. Okay, the man, he want to stand up for his family. Oh, you gonna go against us? We gonna get everybody on the plantation together. We're gonna bring you out here since you want to buck the system, since you want to be bold. And not only is that your particular slave master, not only is he finna rape you in front of your wife and your children, but dude then sent out a call to call other plantation owners, slave owners, to his plantation to rape you in front of your wife, children, and the rest of the slaves. You know what I'm saying? To completely deteriorate your dignity as a man. And then after that, they say, hey, tie them up to two horses and let them both face different directions and pull until he split at the middle. Or hang them from the tree, burn their bodies and take pictures of it, and then send them to other white people as postcards. You know what I'm saying? This the history we weren't getting. At least I wasn't getting. You know what I mean? In school. Or you just had you a baby, right? It's terrible enough you got to bring a child into slavery. You just had to give birth to a child that you know he or she, they finna be in chains and working in the field and everything else just like you till they die. Unless the Most High say otherwise. And you don't know when it's going to be. Imagine it. All right, so, but you have a baby. You set your baby down. And you got to go tend to your workforce and you come back, your baby gone. And your baby gone because massa, and our people weren't illiterate. That's a Hebrew word that means burden. So we weren't illiterate. You know what I'm saying? We saying, man, this is a oppressor, this is a burden on me. So massa, or the burden, he comes steal your child. Go to the Everglades or the swamp, tie your child to a stick or whatever he got, or just having it in his hand, hold him over the water so that the alligator can come out and snap him. You know what I'm saying? And using your child as alligator bait. So once the alligator come out, bite your baby, your beautiful brown baby, bite your baby, then they pull that gator out the water, kill it, shave it, and go make gator shoes and gator clothes and belts. But at the expense of your child's life. Can't tell me that ain't wicked. You know what I mean? Can't tell me that have to be answered for. That don't go unpunished. You know what I mean? Us being the children of Israel, the chosen people, we got punished for transgressing the Most High commandments. And you think they ain't gonna get that back? They gotta get that back, man. They gotta give it, and still ain't repented completely. All right, but I'm going to Joel. Let me go there. Joel chapter 3. Shalom, 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 family Eliyahu. Eliot George, Kodon Rakah, shalom, Mark. Let me see. I'm going to Joel. After Hosea, Salaki, chapter 3. Yeah, man, but that's the darkness of it that wasn't discussed. And this is what I'm saying. This why what I'm seeing is that this is why they had to make the choice selectively to put Black History Month within February. Even though it's saying Carter G. Woodson, he started it up or whatnot. You know what I mean? But still, you know what I mean? I don't know who he was working with. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, they want us to be focused more on love and teddy bears and, like I said, cotton candy instead of what our people. This a point in time, definitely, if we ain't gonna come together under the banner of knowing we Israel, man, we should be reflecting on what went on in our past, man. You know what I'm saying? What really went down. You know what I'm saying? And we still ain't even received nothing in return. Like you got these folks saying, remember the Jewish Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? Remember the Jewish Holocaust. That didn't last 200, 300, 400 years. Remember 9/11. At the most, it lasted a week. But the event itself was just a day or two. If we include the Trade Center and the Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? Remember that, but forget about what happened in slavery. Just forgive that and let's let all that go. But you ain't want to let all that go. You supposedly going to caves, hunting Bin Laden and Hussein and all them. You know what I'm saying? Where is Al? We ain't even got nothing for collateral damage, man. You feel me? But anyhow, Joel 3, verse 3. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. So our children, imagine your son being sold for this man to lay down with a prostitute. Imagine your daughter being sold or given off, sent way somewhere else where you will never see her again, just so this man can drink wine. That ain't happened to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That happened to you, Negro. That happened to our people. You hear what I'm saying? That happened to us, man. Let's go to a different book. We already got, showing that, black is in the Bible, Negroes is in the Bible, Christ is a Negro, Niger, if you looked it up. But let's go to let's go to Psalm 137, proving even more that we the people. But prophecy out the Bible, more black history or brown history out the script, showing you that we the people. Psalm 137. Listen to this, family. I'm starting with verse 1. It says, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. All right, we wept remembering where we come from. We in Babylon. The base word, the root word of Babylon is confusion. We in the land of confusion. That's what we understand. That's what the scripture telling us. Verse 2, it says, we hanged our hearts upon the willows in the midst thereof. Now, do yourself a favor and look up where willow trees grow. And you will find out it say they originate in China. Okay. But they can be found in Europe, Asia, and North America. Now, we talking China. That's not Israel. That's not the Holy Land. That's not Jerusalem. Or if you want to call it the Middle East. That's not that. Europe ain't it. America ain't it. North America ain't it. And Asia ain't it. So what we seeing here, we've been transported to one of these places. And what it's talking about, we've been transported here to North America. You only gonna find them willows. What the point I'm making, willows weren't growing in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't growing in Israel. It wasn't growing in our native land. You know what I'm saying? It was growing over here. You know what I mean? So showing you this is a prophecy that this prophet was seeing that was gonna happen in the future. You know what I mean? We saw any willow strange fruit. Let me finish it out though. But it says verse 3: for they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. You know what I mean? So then we go into the Negro spirituals where the slaves, they were talking about, Pharaoh let my people go. The Africans weren't singing it, so-called African, straight Africans. There's a story that go into the history of Israelites. Letting our forefathers and foremothers, they had to understand that they were Israelites. You know what I'm saying? It said they required of us a song, having us to sing. Even now, we still singing for them. We still dancing for them. You know what I mean? Let me see what y'all saying over here. Judah the Lion, Shalom, 4 horsemen. They would literally tie hands and feet to the back of horses and make the horses run in opposite directions, ripping the lion of Judah apart in front of all Israel. Indeed, King. Indeed. Let me see what else we got over here. Okay, the laws of the universe alone says they will pay for their savagery. I take solace simply in knowing who I am alone. They hate us because they know who we are. They are simply fulfilling Yah's prophecy. Okay. Indeed, the correction coming, man. Who was that? I think what's the guy? Benjamin Franklin. He got a famous quote. He got a famous quote where he said, "The Most High, he not gonna sit back and let injustice just prevail. Judgment gonna come." I'm paraphrasing. You know what I mean? Shalom, Malak Siva. What's up, King? But there was Frank, if I'm not mistaken, Benjamin Franklin. He understood and knew that they was gonna have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going though. I'm still in Psalm 137, the Negro spiritual. Wade in the water. What's the other one? Kumbaya. You know, brothers and sisters that broke that down, saying that it means come by here, Yah. You know what I mean? Some I know we got different brothers and sisters that subscribe to different names. You know what I mean? But our people still reflecting on where we come from and saying, calling on the Most High, singing them songs during that time. Everybody can't say that they had their history. You know what I mean? Can't no other race say they went through the stuff that we went through and still going through. You know what I mean? We didn't really get a full taste of what we went through in slavery. You know what I'm saying? When they taught it to us in school. If we did, like I said before, it'll inspire anger in a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And they know that. That's why they set that King Alfred plan up, the Rex 84 plan, or whatnot. I saw 137 and photo. It says, "How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation of Ur." All right, and I didn't know what that word meant, raise it, R-A-S-E and R-A-Z-E. So when you look it up, it means to destroy, tear it down completely. You know what I'm saying? That's why it said Edom, or the biblical name for so-called Caucasoids, white people. All right, and everybody don't subscribe to it, but that's where I'm at with it. Said these are the people, the same ones who said destroy, tear them down. You know what I mean? All of us, our history and our people all together. Verse 8 says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us." Daughter of Babylon. America is the daughter of Babylon. All right, as far as the ancient Babylon. Verse 9, "Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." Hey, that's the word right there. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go into that, but let's go into some of these curses though. Then we want to verify more of the dark side of the black history through the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Make the book come a little more alive for you in case you still questioning. You know, why is this guy always talking about Israelites and keeping the commandments of the Most High God, and he say the Most High and Christ and all this? I'm gonna show you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right, so this is the covenant made between the Creator and our ancestors, which that covenant passed down to us being the children of our ancestors. The Most High said, look, I'm going to give y'all these commandments, how to eat, you know what I mean, how to drink, what days to celebrate, you know what I mean, what days are holy, you know, how to treat one another, how to love one another. You follow them commandments and obey, you're going to get blessed. But if you disobey, you're going to be cursed. Now, here goes some of the curses. I'm jumping down to dealing with it when we're talking about with slavery. I'm going to start with 29. It says, and thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. All right, so back All this happening is a product of our disobedience, which it'll take a whole nother message or lesson to get into. Okay, because some might question, well, okay, if it's a product of our disobedience, why are we talking about it? Well, they overdid it. That's why we talking about it, and still doing it. I'm gonna jump down verse 30. With next verse 30, it says, "Thou shalt betroth a wife." You're gonna get a wife, and another man shall lie with her. So, like what we seen in 12 Years a Slave, in other movies, you know, you get the slave master. He go out here. You got your wife. You just got married. He take your wife into the barn and sleep with her. You like your wife come out the barn. She pretty much destroyed in her mind mentally because of what just happened. He done forced her. You got something to say about it. He put one in your head. He kill you in front of your wife he just raped and your son. Yeah. I said, "Thou shalt build a house." We built the houses for them to sleep and lay in, and thou shalt not dwell therein. We had to stay outside in the little shack houses. All right. "Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof." So we out collecting and working in the garden, not to feed our own selves, but to feed them. You know what I mean? Even our children. I had that picture a couple years ago. I had our children, our baby picking cotton. You know what I'm saying? And then had, you know, leashes on our children. They giving our children to their children as gifts with leashes on them. Boy. Jumping down verse 32, it says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand." So when they sell us out, when we looked at the what is this though? The recreation of the Roots. You know what I'm saying? You had their part in there where Kissy, she done came of age, she about 15. Kunta and his wife out there. And the slave master then sold her off, and he couldn't do nothing about it. You know what I mean? There's no might in our hand to even redeem our children back to us. You know what I'm saying? They done took your child to somewhere you'll probably never see him again. The chances are you never will. You know what I mean? Verse 33 says, "The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat of, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always." All right, so the significance of that, even bringing it to today, man, we do all this work. We build up every company and country, put them on top. We the labor force at the bottom, building it up, but we don't have enough sense to come together. Or come together with one man and say, well, let us, just like with we talking about basketball, sports all together. It wouldn't be no sports if we weren't in it, because it wouldn't be entertaining. That's just what it is. Now, in that case, like when they had the NBA lockout, man, all them players could have just said, "Man, you know, y'all ain't gonna pay us. We got fat." I tell you what, we ain't rolling with y'all, period. Then we'll start our own league. You know what I mean? They're going to so much. Maybe brothers want to invest in their money properly. I don't know. But still, nonetheless, just to say, man, we ain't finna shoot a ball, run a ball, put on no gloves, swing no bat, swing no golf club, none of that. If y'all don't get right to what we demand, man, sports wouldn't even be nothing. But we don't come together like that. And that's a part of the curses too. Going into that Willie Lynch law. Or with a Willie Lynch letter, I'm sorry. Verse 43 says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low." We talking about finances. It said, "He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." So the stranger within, he's saying, the people that's not of your ethnic group, that's not of your nation, your nationality or race, will be in your community, but they're going to be above you financially. So when we go into the Negro community, the black neighborhood, whatever you want to call it, when your woman, your daughter, your mama, your sister, your niece, auntie, whoever, want to go get their nails did in your neighborhood, it's going to be a Korean in there, most likely, getting that money. You know what I mean? If she want to go get some weave in your neighborhood, it's gonna be some Koreans selling that weed to her. You finna go get you some gas, right? In your neighborhood, the corner store, not owned by somebody who look like you. It's owned by this Arab guy in your neighborhood, though. Okay, and then you want to go shopping for groceries, Kroger's, Walmart, whatever. The people that's at the top of that, yeah, the person at the register might look like you, but the person that owns Walmart, Kroger's, Piggly Wiggly, that they ain't your people, but they in your neighborhood. So, but you, meanwhile, you in the projects, you in the ghettos, we in the slums, we don't own nothing in our neighborhoods, but hate for one another. All right, but this is a whole nother message, man. All right, so let's go for verse 46. It says, talking about the curses, it said, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So we better identify the chosen people through identify who the Israelites really are and track that back to history to what we're talking about, the dark side of it, which is why a few years ago in Houston, a sister went through the McGraw-Hill history book of her child, and it was and going there and found out they say that Negroes came to America as immigrants looking for work. We weren't forced. They didn't kidnap us and bring us over here by force. No, we voluntarily came over here, man, looking for work as immigrants. This in a McGraw-Hill book, which it got to go through a board of people to approve of this, to be put in this book, to be put out, and then within the curriculum for the rest of the students to learn. But I can guarantee you within this same book, because there's false history within that same book, man, they ain't changed up what happened to the Jewish people. They ain't changed it up. They ain't changed nobody else. They ain't changed up what happened with the Ming Dynasty. They ain't changed nobody else's history but ours. Why? Because when we start going into that, we link back to what the book say. We're going to get what the book say. It say verse 47, because thou servest not thy Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. So we were unappreciative of what the Most High gave us. But verse 48, it says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, not your friends, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So you can go look it up on the internet and see that during slavery time, they put yokes of iron on our necks. All right, but let me get down here to 54. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. So the question that I pose many times to people, have you heard of white on white crime? Have you heard of Chinese on Chinese crime, Indian on Indian crime, whatever? But the chance of you coming across that is minute. You ain't really heard that. Not often, but you really familiar with black on black crime. That's one of the curses that we suffer from for breaking the commandments of the Most High God. All right, but it also ties into what was instilled into us through the Willie Lynch. I don't even know what they call it, man, but the Willie Lynch syndrome. Finishing the verse out, it says, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So when we talk about domestic violence, and my brother Malak brought something out too. He said, within a year, the highest level of domestic violence is around or during Valentine's Day, because people mad. Oh, you didn't get me this, you didn't get me that. Police calls is through the roof. People fighting and arguing and killing and all of that because of that. As far as domestic violence, I can see that. But Tony, with the last part of verse 54 says, toward the remnant or the remainder of his children, which he shall leave. So we're talking about the single parent household. When we look at the statistics of Negroes and whose family across the board of different ethnic groups, who has the highest level of people being raised in a household where the father is absent. We are those people. All right. So this is more black history, brothers and sisters, or brown history, what I call it, that we ain't been taught, but it's all in this book right here. It's all in this book. Can't nobody else say they went through this though, or dealing with these things. All right, I'm gonna jump down to verse 6 to 8. All right, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. How did we get to America? All right, we came over here through cargo slave ships, transported. You know what I mean? And the Jewish people, they funded the slave ships. There's some key information right there to where anybody who really trying to figure out who is who and what's going on in the world and why is these people getting $10,000 checks from America every freaking month. America sending billions of dollars to these folks, but can't even pay for the homeless in their own country. Left Flint with polluted water for years till it took an Israelite man to come up with a machine. All praise to the Most High for that. To come up with a machine that draw the humidity from the air to make water. Meanwhile, they didn't left us to die from the lead poison. You know what I'm saying? But you sending millions of dollars across the water for these folks, and it can't even help your people. Playing commercials. My sister LaPointe brought this out. You playing commercials talking about feed their child, the hungry, and all that in another country, but you got people here starving who you ain't trying to feed. Talking about the country. All right, go back to 6 to 8 though. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt being a word to mean bondage. Bondage meaning slavery. All right, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. You ain't gonna see your homeland the same way you saw it before. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And even here in Memphis, they still ain't got rid of it, or to my understanding, it's a street called Auction. And it's the same street where they used to sell us off on auction blocks. Can't no other people claim their history. That's our history. You know what I'm saying? It's selling real humans, real people. Then talking about as far as the new year being January the 1st, talking about that term of what you do on that day is what you're gonna be doing the rest of the year. That came from our people being so terrified when the new year come in, because it was like they had a sale on us as slaves. You get slave owners coming from all over, and our brothers and sisters, our mamas, daddies, grandparents at that time, they filled with fear, not knowing if, man, this is the last time I'm finna see my grandbaby. This is the last time they finna see me, because somebody finna take me to a whole nother plantation, rent me out. That's what they were doing, renting us out. You know what I'm saying? For that whole year, and you might not make it back. How you renting the whole person? This ain't going on with everybody. And then the people who it did go on with, it wasn't at the level that it went on with us. We talking about 100, not 100 years. We're not talking about just 200 years. We talking about over 200 years this was going on. All right, so family, that's as much as I can share tonight, man. I pray that it was edifying. I pray that the Most High touched his target. Like I always say, every word ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to draw every soul. I'm not trying to draw one soul, period. I'm just trying to point you to the truth, to Christ, to the Most High, the Father, and let you know what's going on in the world. And it's time to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't going to wake up, I know this. But for those who will listen, those who are seeking, you know what I mean? I pray that it was a blessing to you, the same way it was for me. Like I said, you can like the video, dislike it, comment, share, subscribe. Either way, you know what I'm saying? The Father will be done. But just put that on y'all mind. Let that digest in y'all spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? The thing that we went through. Recap real quick. The 13th Amendment saying that you can still be put into slavery if you commit a crime and duly convicted of that crime. And then after the 13th Amendment being established, or they're still being in there, we had the pig laws. We had the black codes. We dealt with peonage. Black History Month, before it was Black History Month, it was Black History or Negro History Week. You know what I'm saying? These type of things. Let it just resonate in y'all spirit. You know what I'm saying? Father willing, we'll be able to talk more about it. Appreciate y'all listening. Shalom, peace and blessing to the chosen. I'm out of here, family. As soon as I figure out how to stop the video. There we go.
Shalom, family.
You want me to stop?
Peace and blessing to the chosen.
There we go.
Israel scattered.